Hello there, what is going on everyone? Today I am going to be walking you through this new paint job. I am going to be painting a Legator class star Dreadnaught. This is the one that you see here, and I'm going to be walking you through everything from priming to the finishing touches. This Legator class star Dreadnaught is a prequel era ship. This is from Memnock Manufacturing. It's also a Ravensfell design. This was sent out to me for a while back. I did a couple of ship reviews, and I'll put some links to those in the description below. But we're going to start off setting this thing up on some stands, and we are going to prime it and paint it. If you guys haven't already, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment, like the video, share the video, all that great stuff, and I'll post some links to some more of my painting videos and starship videos and all that other great stuff. So also definitely check out Memnock Manufacturing, and if you haven't checked out any of Ravensfell designs, they are absolutely fantastic. At this point, we're just putting some primer on the ship right now. So now with this ship primed, I'm going to start putting my colors on there, and I'm starting with Vallejo Ghost Green. Now, this is a very, very light green. It's almost white with how light it is, but it's part of the color set that I want to have a gradual fade. And there's different approaches that you can do with this, but I wanted to go with the lightest green first. Once I get through with the Ghost Green, I'm going to be using Foul Green, which is more of a medium green, and finishing off with Scurvy Green. These are all from Vallejo Game Color series, and they are also being mixed with thinner and turned into basically a flow that's going to work in the airbrush. Don't try to just pour regular paints in an airbrush. That's a bad idea. So now I'm using my Foul Green along the center and trying to build my way out, kind of creating that gradient that you're going to see. I could have just mixed greens and whites and made them lighter, but I wanted to use specific colors because I do like the way these greens work together. As you can see here, I'm making the Foul Green kind of extend maybe 3/4 of the way out from the middle of the ship to the outside, leaving that Ghost Green on the edge, and following up with Scurvy Green right down the middle as everything else has dried. And now you can really see the three different types of greens begin to take shape. Now I'm using gray as a contrast color here. Now you can go with any kind of color that you like, but I always like gray to go with bright colors because I find it's a nice contrast. And I wanted to add like basically racing stripes. So I'm using painter's tape here to mark off some areas. Now keep in mind that painter's tape usually it works very, very well, but if you don't let your paint dry completely before you put the painter's tape on there, it's going to peel some bits off. Now this happens to me a little bit on this build, where when I picked up the painter's tape, there was a little bit behind left over. Not really a huge deal because we'll go back and clean up those areas and fill in deck plating and everything. But I'm just trying to arrange some basic, V-shaped kind of aerodynamic racing stripes and kind of getting this set up. Just another reminder to always make sure your airbrush paint is fully dry before you apply any tape, because it's just going to make it that much more difficult, and it was one of the things that I ran into here. So learn from my lessons. Now Now at this point, I'm going to use a dry brush to fill in the lines. This is my preferred method when I'm trying to put in lines in between tape. I like to keep the paint a little on the drier side so it doesn't seep under the tape. There are various levels of elevation here. There's different like parts of the hull that are higher and lower, and so the tape doesn't give me 100% perfect seal. Anytime you are using tape, if you use too much wetness on your brush, or if you use an airbrush or whatever, there's always a chance that you're going to have some paint seep underneath the tape. But as we peel it off, you can see with the dry brush we get nice kind of clean lines there. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a wash. Now this is a lot of wash to put on a ship, so I'm not using regular Nuln Oil. I'm actually mixing a little bit of contrast paint, Black Templar's contrast paint, with a little bit of water and a little bit of olive green Vallejo airbrush paint to kind of make my own custom mixture here. The idea here is this is going to be very wet, and instead of applying it with a brush, I'm applying it with a rag. It's going to be a big mess. Anytime I try to wash a large ship like this, it gets all over the place. I pour it all over and I try to wipe off the excess. I get it all over my hands. It's not pretty. Definitely make sure you have something. Don't wear any white when you're doing this. It's going to get on your clothes probably, but this is my method. I like to just let it kind of pool across there, but make sure you get off any excess. So now I'm going to start painting the engines. I'm going to be using Vallejo Dark Gray. Now this is actually a darker gray than the gray striping that I already did. I wanted to have some contrast in my grays and blacks. And although it is going to look a little similar to that gray after the washes hit it, it is still a darker gray. And I'm using a big brush here, and we're just going to cover up these engines and make them have a different look than the rest of the ship. Now this is where it gets fun, because now we can go around to the top and start doing shield generators or gun turrets or whatever other pieces that we want to add a little bit of extra detail to make them kind of break against the color scheme of the whole ship. And as you can see here, we've got all of these. We're going to also start doing panel lines. with some of the original greens that I was using. So in this case, I'm going to start by using Scurvy Green for some of the panel lines in the center of the ship, but I'll be also using some Foul Green and Ghost Green later on in other parts of the ship as they kind of extend outward. I still want to keep with the same color scheme, but also provide that break in natural gradient and make it look like this thing has had some panels replaced. Here I'm just using an old makeup brush, a little bit with the Ghost Green, which is the lightest green we're using, and I'm going to be doing some dry brushing on the ship, mostly around some of the raised parts in the middle where the bridge is and some of the elevated sections where you have a lot of parts that sort of branch out away from the body of the ship. And I want to add, this is just a kind of a quick shortcut and a way to add lots of extra definition and detail to the ship. And there's going to be some parts where I get maybe a little bit too much, and my film quality here is terrible because my hand is in the way. But as you can see here, we're getting a little extra definition on some of those raised corners and those edges. And again, we're going to come back later and clean these up a little bit more. But this is just a great way to apply a lot of detail to a lot of area in a short amount of time. Now we'll just come back and clean up some of those places where maybe the dry brushing got on a little bit too heavy. So at this point, I'm now taking Ghost Green and I'm going around the sides of the ship and I'm getting these sort of raised panels. This particular ship has a lot of these. They almost look like staples or fangs or teeth that are around the sides. It's a very unique sort of bit of greebling that they have on there. And I decided, since the goal was to have the brightest or the most whitest green on the outside, I wanted to use the Ghost Green without the wash to kind of, to highlight that bright edge that this ship is supposed to have. Now this is different from the actual gun tubes that are that you'll see above. I'll come back and do those in gray, but for this part I am doing Ghost Green throughout all of these. And for the engine glow, I decided I want to use Warlord Purple. It is one of my favorite colors by Vallejo. I am mixing it with a little bit of pink in there too. That's actually a flesh tone. I wanted it to be a little bit lighter, but it ended up looking mostly like Warlord Purple anyway. Of course, we did mix this with some thinner, and we're getting that sort of color. And we're just going to apply this into our engines. You have to be kind of careful when you get this in there. You don't want it to go everywhere, but we're going to have some fun with it. And we also have a sort of a fighter launch bay or a hangar bay in here, and I figured I'd do it in the same color. I already had the paint loaded up, and I think this is just going to be a nice contrast against the greens of the ship and kind of give it a watermelon ship vibe. right, so now that we've got that all done, the last thing I did is I added a little engine streaks to kind of give the illusion of like a blast coming out of the engines on there. Next part is we're going to do some lighting. From this point, I just get a little brush and a little bit of white, and I basically will go around the whole ship, all to the little raised areas, wherever I think lights should be. This is very much a Bob Ross Zen moment, happy little lights, and I always imagine what people are doing in these various rooms on the ship. And now we're done. This is a look at the ship. If you liked this video, let me know what you think down in the comments section below. We're doing giveaways all the time. There's still time left to win the latest one, and love to hear what you think. Check the links in the description below. You can jump in our Discord, all that great stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and always have fun painting, have fun flying your ships, and always be creative and be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes, so say we all, and always wash your socks.